Apparently they're allowed to chase people with horses. They just chase someone with an horse. They just chase people with horses.
Well, that's my property, innit?
All right.
Not your property, is it?
We'll seize your car, which will cost you money, and you'll get
You seize this car, I will seize your life.
I want to see every single woman in this country covered from head to toe. I want to see the hand of the thief cut. I want to see adulterers stoned to death. I want to see Sharia law in Europe.
Madam, you are wearing a burqa. That is not British. That is not English. So that is changing the culture. We're a Christian country. British people will be a minority in this country within the next 50 years.
You're telling me?
You came to speak to us.
There appear to have been upwards of 250,000 young white girls raped in this century, very largely by Muslim men. And given these girls are usually raped several times a day for years,
Ladies and gentlemen, Sharia Horseback police are forcing British women to cover up on British streets, with Greater Manchester Police doing nothing about it. One man stated it plainly: "I want every woman covered head to toe. I want adults stoned to death. I want Sharia law in Europe." Not a fringe rant, a mounted patrol making it happen. 250,000 young British girls were raped this century, largely by Muslim men, while politicians who claim to defend women looked away. The left built this. But something is breaking in Britain right now, and what comes next for these communities is going to shock everyone.
Are they part of Greater Manchester Police? How come they're not being nipped for chasing them people with horses then? They've just been chasing people with horses, officer.
Yeah,
These have been chasing people with horses.
Morning, Instagram.
Whatever they want.
Whatever they want, clearly.
Yeah, go start making up.
If they're junior...
Clear, yeah. Clearly.
Jen, I told you, let's get going, please.
They should be being nicked. Should be being nicked, officer. They've just been chasing people on horses. Why are they not being nicked?
With the greatest respect, what do you want me to do and pull him off the horse?
Yeah.
What?
If they had a Union Jack on, they'd be off the horse.
Well, I'm not going to pull someone off the horse, mate.
If they had a Union Jack on, you would.
Okay, Britain just let men on horseback chase people through the streets. Cops watched. The United Kingdom has been undergoing a demographic and cultural transformation for roughly 30 years. Large-scale Muslim immigration, mostly from Pakistan, Bangladesh, Somalia, and parts of the Middle East. Communities that, unlike virtually every immigrant group throughout Western history, have maintained parallel legal and social systems rather than integrating. Sharia courts, that's Islamic law, I'll break it down in a moment, operating openly inside British cities. No-go zones where police genuinely don't enter. Two-tier law enforcement where a British man gets arrested for a Facebook post, while a man on horseback chasing pedestrians gets a polite conversation. And a grooming gang scandal that went uninvestigated for 20 years because officers were terrified of being called racist. You guys have heard pieces of this. What's happening today connects all of it, and it runs directly to decisions being made in Washington right now. Sharia, real quick because people tune out when they don't understand a word. Islamic law, derived from the Quran and religious tradition, covers criminal punishment, family structure, what you can wear in public, what you can drink. Under classical Sharia, a woman accused of adultery gets stoned to death. A man gets a warning. A thief loses his hand. That's the system, not a fringe interpretation, stated openly by people operating inside British cities right now. So, Greater Manchester. Two men in what appear to be Sharia patrol uniforms, on horseback, actively chasing people through the streets. British police are present. Someone is standing there trying to get an officer to respond.
To the suffragettes, I hope you all know that this is how they want their rights. This is how we got rights in this country. We fought for it. We fought for it. Slavery was legal.
What did you fight for? What did you fight for? You look like you just come out of school. What did you fight for? My grandfather fought for the country, not you. No way.
Stop being a paedophile, move away.
Paedophile. Well done. Is that half your age?
Is that the word of the day?
You're a 60-year-old not paedophilia, is it though?
What is it then?
We have a Me Too movement. Move away.
The officer's response, with the greatest respect, what do you want me to do? Pull him off the horse? That's Greater Manchester Police, on the record. Then the man on the ground says what everyone standing there already knows. If they had a Union Jack on, they'd be off the horse. The officer goes quiet. Not because he disagrees, but because there's nothing to say. He knows it's true. A British man waving his own country's flag gets arrested for it. A man running street enforcement for an ideology that openly rejects British law gets a polite chat. Ladies and gentlemen, that is two-tier policing. Not alleged, not inferred, documented on camera and confirmed by the officer's own silence. This confidence has a logic to it. You don't arrive at horseback patrols without years of being accommodated, protected from criticism, and insulated from accountability. Once that foundation is built, you guys know exactly where it goes next. A Muslim woman at a demonstration is screaming at British police officers that she and her community fought for the rights of this country. That's the argument. To the police, out loud.
This is London. This is how many mosques are around me. This is what the sign looks like when you get off the train here. These are the advertisements you see. This is what it looks like when kids get out of school. This is what the political candidates look like. This is what it's like walking through the grocery store here. The UK has become unrecognizable, and that is why I traveled thousands of miles to come here, to find out why and how this happened. Did the UK truly fall, and do they want to do this to our country next?
I'm sorry, I genuinely cannot keep a straight face at that. More British Muslims volunteered to fight for ISIS than volunteered for the British Armed Forces. That's documented, not something I invented. And she's in front of police claiming her grandfather fought for England. The woman responding gets it exactly right. You look like you just came out of school. My grandfather fought for the country, not you. That's the sanity in that scene. But notice who delivers it. Not a politician, not a journalist. A civilian standing on a pavement, doing the job those institutions abandoned years ago. Ladies and gentlemen, that woman on the street just showed more clarity than the entire British political press combined. Now, an American traveled thousands of miles specifically to document what London looks like on the ground. Not from a think tank, not in a report, on the actual ground.
You have places where, in the UK, you have a terrible mayor of London, terrible, he's an incompetent guy, but you have Sharia courts. You don't have Sharia courts, you don't want Sharia courts, you have Sharia courts adjudicating law. So it's very simple. Immigration, very importantly, immigration and energy. And you bring it back. Otherwise, you're not going to bring it back. Okay. One more. Go ahead.
I have a question for the Chancellor.
Yes, please. The UK has become unrecognizable. Those are his words. The question he closes on, did the UK truly fall? And do they want to bring this to America next? I'll be honest, I don't know how to fully answer the first part. I think there are people in Britain who are fighting hard, and I respect them. But the physical reality he documented, the signs, the schools, the political candidates, the train station in England where English isn't the default language, that's not alarmist footage. That's just what's there. And the people who built that reality in Britain are running the identical playbook here. Open borders, no cultural expectations, no integration requirements, and anyone who raises a concern gets called a bigot. Democrats aren't protecting communities, they're protecting a voting bloc. There's a difference, and they know it. Here's where it becomes legally serious. Donald Trump described exactly what happens when you let this go long enough.
In one part of town, Ramesa and his associates have set up so-called Sharia patrols to go out and discourage behavior that they deem un-Islamic. On this night, they stopped to talk to a couple of non-Muslim men who were in a park drinking beer, which is forbidden under Islam.
So we're just reminding the community about staying safe. And in this area, there's a lot of gambling that goes on, a lot of alcohol drinking, and it leads to a lot of problems. So we advise you, and we advise anyone we see, to stay away from these things.
Get the prostitutes off our streets!
But the patrols are not always so friendly. Online clips give a very different picture. A woman in a short skirt is abused.
Vigilante cannot dress like that in Muslim area.
I'm so...
We don't care if you're appalled at all.
Muslim patrols. It's Great Britain.
This we don't care. It's not so Great Britain. You need to get out of it.
A man the patrol thinks is gay is insulted.
Get out of here quicker then. You're dirty, mate. You're a gay, mate. Get out of here, mate.
In the night time, it turns into a very ugly place like many of the...
Walking through London with Ramesa, you experience an alternate reality where there is no compromise and all conversations are one-sided.
Ultimately, I want to see every single woman in this country covered from head to toe. I want to see the hand of the thief cut. I want to see adulterers stoned to death. I want to see Sharia law in Europe, and I want to see it in America. I believe our patrols are a means to an end.
The only thing I would say is that in America and in the United Kingdom, democracy,
a backwards one,
but it's a system
one
that allows the people to choose what they want and allows people freedom.
So why can't I choose Sharia? When in Rome, overthrow Caesar, implement the Sharia.
In your home, you can do whatever you want.
But what about in the public? Why can't I tell you to cover up? Am I free to say that?
Because it would be outrageous.
So where's my freedom? Where's my freedom?
You can say it to me, but
okay, so cover up. Wear the hijab.
Arrest me and de-arrest me.
The easy option is you peeling it off. That's the cheapest option, and that's you going on your way.
Well, you peel it off because I want to sue you for it.
I can't peel it off because it's caused damage to your window.
Yeah, well, that's my property, innit?
All right.
Not your property, is it?
The alternative is we'll seize your car, which will cost you money, and you'll get tickets.
You seize this car, I will seize your life. Get threats. Okay. Why? Because this is my car, not yours.
Okay.
Your car is your car. Why am I being funny with you? Because you know what? I belong to my God.
Excellent.
Yeah? I don't belong to your system.
Right.
Yeah?
You're driving on the road in the UK, which is...
Well, I imply with your law because I'm living on your land.
Right.
But I believe to God. Arrest me and de-arrest me.
The easy option is you peeling it off.
We need mass deportations and to reclaim our British roots. Madam, you are wearing a burqa. That is not British. That is not English. So that is changing the culture. We're a Christian country. British people will be a minority in this country within the next 50 years.
Why don't? Let's see what happens. Let's see if you can push whoever you need to push.
We can, and we will. And we will bring back British culture. We will bring back the British people. If you come to Britain, you speak English.
Yeah, but we are speaking English, but we need to. We're most of the time, we need people.
British people, they expect everyone to speak English.
Why am I having this debate? It's incredible to me that I'm an Englishman who's born and bred in this country. My ancestry dates back thousands of years to this country, and I have to have an argument about what language we speak.
But now you're taking that side.
Sharia courts adjudicating, I always trip on that word and I'm leaving it in, adjudicating law in a Western democracy. Not theology inside a mosque, that's private, that's between consenting adults. Adjudicating actual legal disputes that should be processed through British civil and criminal courts. Sadiq Khan, the Sharia-curious mayor of London himself, has presided over more of this than any other major Western city, while crime has climbed and acid attacks became routine. Trump names it plainly. The British establishment writes think pieces about why it's complicated. And Democrats over here, the ones who lecture America endlessly about women's rights, gay rights, freedom of speech, vote to protect communities and institutions that wouldn't extend a single one of those rights to anyone under their own rules. You march for gay rights on Saturday. You vote to shield mosques that execute gay men on Friday. They don't get to own tolerance while doing that. Pick a lane. Here's the concept that ties all of this together, and you guys deserve the full context. In Islamic theology, there's a concept called hijra, migration. Not just relocating, migration as a mechanism for extending the reach of Islam. The idea, you settle, build infrastructure, mosques, schools, Sharia councils, apply demographic and political pressure, and eventually the host culture accommodates the community rather than the other way around. That's hijra. I want to be honest here. I'm not saying every Muslim immigrant is executing a coordinated strategy. I don't believe that and I won't say it. But the pattern playing out in the United Kingdom, the parallel courts, the grooming gangs running unchecked for 20 years in Rotherham, Telford, and Oxford, the horseback enforcers, the politicians who still refuse to name any of it, that is the hijra pattern. Organized or organic, it produces the same outcome. And that outcome includes testimony before the House of Lords. Upwards of 250,000 young white British girls raped in this century. the overwhelming majority of convicted offenders from Pakistani heritage Muslim grooming gangs, covered up for 2 decades, because the people responsible were more afraid of the word Islamophobic than they were of protecting children. The political response to all of it, 20 years of look the other way and one inquiry after another with nothing changing, is honestly cooked. This next one runs long. It covers the policing double standard, the street confrontations, a car stop where a man openly tells a police officer he submits only to Allah, Birmingham, the full scope of what's been allowed to happen. Stay with it.
That side, the Punjabi side, the
Well, I don't agree with that either.
But the
English only. We are in England. Why am I having this conversation?
There are other people. That means you are forgetting that there's other people. Some people, they're finding it difficult.
Then don't come to our country.
No, but we've been here. We've been here.
Don't come to England if you're not going to speak English. Why is that controversial thing to say? This is my country. This is my country. Why am I stood here having to deal with this?
No. It's our country.
Because this is my country. I'm an Englishman. This is my country. This is for everyone.
Why do you have people in my country?
Well, where are you from, sir? Where are you from?
You started it. You're telling me.
You came to speak to us.
But except that if we extrapolate nationally, the Jay report on Rotherham and other reports on Telford and Oxford, there appear to have been upwards of 250,000 young white girls raped in this century, very largely by Muslim men. And given these girls are usually raped several times a day for years, so, my lords, what is the government's answer to the Chief Constable of Northumbria, who has just said that there is every likelihood that these grooming gangs are operating in every one of our major cities? So, my lords, what is the government doing to prosecute those in authority who turned a blind eye to all this because they were afraid of being Islamophobic and so on? And what is it doing to compensate and help these victims mentally?
Dirty Muslims, come on! Come on! Fuck! He's having a swingers with him. Him! Yeah!
That's assault, that's assault.
Get him! Run in, beat up! You do that fucking blood! Let's fucking do it! Let's do it! You pay God!
Whoa, easy.
Fuck is that?
Easy.
Who the fuck is that?
Allahu Akbar. Allahu Akbar. Allahu Akbar. Allahu Akbar. Allahu Akbar. سمع الله لمن حمده. Allahu Akbar.
You seize this car, I'll seize your life. Then, calmly, same breath. I respect your laws because I live on your land, but I submit to Allah. Not to Parliament, not to the police officer standing in front of him, to Allah. That's a direct quote, and Democrats will call you racist for repeating it.